back.
Most Appalachian encounters don't give you a second chance to run. When aggressive whistles, deep growls, and heavy impacts strike your shelter in total darkness, the wilderness feels intensely hostile. Do these ancient trails belong to us, or to something far older? On May 30th, 2026, paranormal investigator Jake Bruce and his teammate Clayton entered several abandoned locations across West Virginia and Tennessee, deep within the Appalachian region. Posted on the Jake Bruce YouTube channel, known for paranormal investigations, abandoned places, and horror challenges, the journey began as a search for answers. But as strange voices, moving shadows, and unexplained contact followed them from one location to the next, the trip slowly took on a darker meaning. The investigation began at Kmore Coal Ghost Town in West Virginia. Jake and Clayton walked down 821 steps toward a mining community abandoned in the 1940s. At least 21 workers had died in mine accidents there. Inside a ruined structure, they used an Alice box. It produced words connected to sadness and harsh conditions, then gave the name Nick.
So if there's any miners or anybody who hear us, can you tell us anything about yourself?
Suicide.
Whoa!
Horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Call out horrible.
And we were just talking about, you talked out loud about jobs we would
Job
hate.
being horrible.
Horrible.
Exactly.
What emotion were you feeling during the times you were alive and working here?
Said. Because they already said the emotion. It's
Yep, horrible. Who are we speaking with?
Nick.
As they prepared to leave, the EMF meter suddenly reached the red range, even though the area had no active electricity.
Yo, wait.
Whoa.
We're getting EMF spikes in the middle of nowhere. Nick, if this is you, can you touch that again?
It just...
Dude.
Nick is here, bro.
Yes.
Their next stop was Elkmont, Tennessee, an abandoned town linked to the 1969 disappearance of 6-year-old Dennis Martin. At one house, a stuck doorknob turned and the door opened. Soon after, Clayton noticed a dark shape near the base of a tree. It moved quickly before vanishing.
Dude, that tree right in front of that house closest to us, to where I'm pointing to, there was a black mass that covered the bottom tree. It looked like it walked like this real quick.
Okay.
While asking about Dennis, the spirit box repeated part of Jake's sentence. Jake then noticed a light in the window of another empty house.
Let's do that. Was that you?
What?
Just went like,
No, it was not.
do that. Let's do that. Whoa, Clayton.
Whoa.
There was just a light in that window right there. The light was right there in that window. It appeared right here. It was like right here in this window.
Arrived.
Arrived right when we walked into this house.
Man, that's creepy as hell. You heard that right?
Yeah.
Inside, the device produced the words, "Arrived, fresh, and case." As they discussed stories about feral people in the forest, a strange squeal broke the silence. Jake's heart rate rose to 133 beats per minute.
Do you know anything about the feral? What?
What?
Was that, dude? What? That was a squeak. Dude, that sounds like Mothman. That sounds like a cryptid,
Yeah,
like... What? What?
Dude, I just saw somebody run across the road.
No, you didn't. Did you
Yes,
film it?
I did.
Were you filming it?
It was filming that way.
How far down?
It was like halfway down.
Let's go.
Into that white house right there, dude.
A figure then seemed to run across the road. Inside a white house, they heard a loud crash and a crying sound.
There's the crying. What is going on, Clayton? Whoa. Something just crashed in the house. Clayton, what was that?
Dude, I don't know.
Before leaving, Jake saw what looked like a head and shoulders in a window. On the dusty glass, they found finger marks and a small handprint.
Right here?
It was right here. It was like this tall and it just went like this. These windows, can you see the stuff on the windows?
Yeah.
Nothing. Right where I saw it. Finger scratches.
That's a little kid hand.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Look at that. Look.
Dude,
that's my hand.
Dennis Martin was 6.
Killed.
Killed!
No way.
The spirit box then produced the word "killed." The marks did not prove any connection to Dennis Martin, but the timing disturbed the group. At Point Pleasant, West Virginia, they visited the Mothman Museum and reviewed the 1966 sightings and the 1967 Silver Bridge collapse.
December 15th, 1967, the Silver Bridge suddenly collapsed during rush hour traffic and killing 46 people. But what makes this even more terrifying is that it happened almost exactly 1 year after the first Mothman sighting. And for months, people across town had been reporting encounters with the creature. Due to these strange events, many believe that the Mothman was actually the cause of the fatal bridge collapse.
They later entered the TNT bunkers, heard a sharp screech, and found a pentagram and the number 666 on a wall. The spirit box produced Monster and Bend over.
Whoa, what was that screech? That's what he said to make.
Did you hear an actual like high-pitched squeak?
Yes, I did.
Do you see that shit?
Yeah, oh,
And 666, dude.
What? Pentagram.
Dude, look, and then there's another outer ring. Can you tell us if the Mothman's real? Is there anything else you can tell us about Mothman? Where did the Mothman live? Bend over?
The final stop was the abandoned old hospital on College Hill in Williamson. Cameras recorded basement noises while everyone was outside. Jake later explored alone, captured unclear EVP audio, and lost contact with Clayton when the radio signal broke apart. A strange voice then came through the walkie-talkie.
Whoa, 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 we got something. What the fuck? No, I heard nothing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh my god! Dude, somebody is trying to make me not talk to Clayton.
On the second floor, the Alice box said shoes as Jake heard fast footsteps. It later produced Edge and a head, followed by a whistle and a scream.
There's a tab down there. Alright, I'm hearing what sounds like footsteps from both sides of me, man. What was that? What was that? There was just like a... Somebody just screamed, bro.
I made my way to the basement and tried one more EVP session.
It said, I tried the walkie, bro. Oh my gosh. That voice just said, I tried the walkie.
At 5:20 a.m., while Jake slept on the hospital floor, something tapped the camera lens.
You hear that? Just tap the camera right there.
Some viewers believed Nick was protecting them, while skeptics pointed to audio interference, shadows, animals, or hidden people. What do you think? Was Nick warning them? Or was the greatest danger inside those abandoned places something human? On October 28, 2024, Dee from the YouTube channel Dee's Dark Adventures entered a wooded former government testing area near Point Pleasant, West Virginia with her dogs. Her channel follows forest walks, abandoned locations, and unexplained encounters. What began as a daytime exploration soon grew uneasy, as strange animal behavior, unusual structures, and heavy metallic sounds appeared along the trail. Dee begins the main part of the exploration by walking deeper into the former government testing grounds with her dogs Samora and Mia. Along the trail, she notices a deer standing completely still in the distance.
There's a deer up there. I don't know if you can see him. There's a deer right there. I don't know if that might just be a fake one. It's not moved. It might be fake. No more shooting. See if I can get you up here and look.
Even with noise coming from the surrounding area, the animal does not appear to react. Its lack of movement makes Dee question whether it is real. Farther into the woods, she finds several trees bent or crossed into unusual triangular shapes. Some branches appear to have been broken and woven together, forming patterns that are often linked in cryptid and Bigfoot theories to territorial markings in remote forests.
That's the first thing I've seen where it's two trees triangled. They're triangling stuff here. That's pretty cool. I mean, they triangle stuff everywhere. There's a couple leaning into it. That's cool. You got that break up there. But look at this. Look at that nest up in there. It's like a huge nest up there. Like,
She also notices a very large nest-like structure resting high above the ground. Its size immediately catches her attention, although she cannot determine what built it. The deeper she goes, the more unsettling signs she begins to notice. Without warning, a sudden boom echoes through the woods.
That's like a damn cannon went off. Dude, that sounded like cannon or metal. And that metal was from that bunker. I think it has a door on it. That's insane, dude. This was a government testing facility, so I don't know if somebody's out here shooting a cannon. Please they quit shooting. What is it? Dude.
The sound resembles either a cannon blast or a large piece of metal being struck. Dee stops and listens, but she cannot identify where it came from. The path eventually leads her to an abandoned military site. As she approaches one of the bunkers, she notices that the heavy metal door appears to be positioned differently from the last time she passed it. She pushes the door open and enters to inspect the interior.
Hello? No. Yeah, no. Okay, there's nothing in here. I'm done.
The bunker appears empty with no sign of anyone hiding inside. However, metallic sounds continue to echo around the structure, making it difficult to tell whether they are coming from the door another bunker or somewhere deeper in the area. After leaving the bunker, Dee follows a road connecting several former TNT storage structures. During the walk, a low and unusual sound comes from the forest.
I keep turning, guys. I'm sorry. Look at the girls. I'm like, what in the hell? What was that? I don't know. That's what it sounded like, kind of deeper, weirder.
It resembles a deep growl or howl. Both dogs stop and look toward the direction of the noise, but nothing visible appears between the trees. After finishing the daytime route, she returns to the swagon and prepares to remain in the area after dark. At first, the night appears calm, and Dee may have believed the most disturbing part of the trip was already over. Instead, something frightening begins unfolding outside her shelter.
They're down there flipping out, dude. They're screaming, and they just got in their car and took off. They're like, go, go, ah, ah!
She hears distant yelling, followed by the sound of a vehicle quickly leaving the area. About 20 minutes later, the situation seems to become far more serious. Something strikes the roof above her and a moving light appears outside. The tension rises as it begins to feel as though an unknown presence is circling the swagon and trying to approach the place where she is hiding.
Someone just hit the roof. Fuck. Fuck. Are they looking for somebody? They're not looking for me. There's moving outside. They're behind me now.
The video ends abruptly, but fortunately Dee manages to escape the area safely. Viewers suggested the large structure may have been a bald eagle nest, while a nearby gun range could explain the distant boom. Still, neither theory clearly explains the impact on the roof or the moving light outside. So what was circling Dee's shelter that night? On May 31, 2026, creator Dustin Frazier returned to an abandoned property in the Appalachians. A previous video filmed at the location had gone viral on TikTok after viewers noticed something visible through a window that Dustin had completely missed while recording. This time he came back with protection and intended to discover what had appeared inside that window. However, he would not remain on the property for long. Almost immediately after stepping onto the grounds, a nearby sound caused him to freeze,
heard a whistle.
A whistle had come from somewhere close within the property. Despite the warning, Dustin continued toward the building he planned to investigate. After settling inside one of the abandoned structures, he began asking questions. Moments later, the building seemed to respond in a way he had not expected.
In 800 feet, turn left. Turn right. Turn right.
A growling sound emerged from an unknown location. Whistles then appeared to surround him, coming from several different directions. Dustin quickly gathered his belongings, left the structure before anything else could happen, and never looked back as he made his way out. Abandoned buildings can distort echoes, making whistles and growls seem as if they are coming from several directions. Still, the timing of the sounds is difficult to dismiss. What do you think Dustin heard inside that property? On January 30th, 2025, the Paranormal Discovery Team ventured deep into a supposedly haunted forest within Nova Scotia's Appalachian region. The remote area is known for its indigenous history and the disturbing stories associated with the surrounding wilderness.
If you guys missed our previous treks, we did trek, what, 2 times already? We're gonna go deeper, trying to figure out if there's a Wendigo here, spirits. You came in contact with the boy. We're off to the races again to go even further. I have everything on my back.
Oh my God.
Like 85% of the stuff we have is on me right now.
After hiking through the snow, the group eventually reached a location they had named Moon Rock, the same place where they had camped during their previous visit.
Yeah, this was I call this area like Moon Rock because we were like right underneath the moonlight. Hey, right up there. Hey, there's a fire pit. I didn't even see that. Did you see that fire pit?
I did last night.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have had a fire. Oh well.
Next time. We're starting to get the sun going down.
Careful. This looks slippery.
Under the moonlight, the area looked both beautiful and disturbing. The silence created the uncomfortable feeling that something else might be nearby. Once darkness settled over the forest, the atmosphere began to change. Everyone sensed a presence close to the campsite, so the team activated a spirit communication device. Before long, a chilling voice came through.
Is that a path there?
No idea.
The child wants help.
Child's this back. Talker?
Yeah, Spirit Talker. Child's back.
Hi. We came back to help you. We actually made it one of our goals tonight.
The investigators immediately froze. Although shaken by what they heard, they remained focused and explained that they had returned to offer help.
I'm upset.
What makes you upset? No, it's not upset.
Do you need help finding your family?
They continued asking questions, hoping to understand who or what was communicating with them.
You can trust us.
They keep secrets.
What? You can trust us, though. We're here to help you, truthfully. We will cause no harm at all.
The responses remained unclear until the voice suddenly claimed that it was touching someone's back. A strong feeling of unease spread through the group.
I'm touching your back.
I'm touching your back?
Whose back are you touching? Mine or hers?
Manipulation.
Are we close to you right now?
People have seen me.
People have seen me?
Was he the one that maybe you saw going into the tent?
Maybe. I think this is the boy. Okay, Chelsea, I'm not even joking when I said that.
I believe you.
I saw someone like dart like this, into the tent, and like the back arm is what I saw.
Let's go back to the tent and see if the little boy is around there, and maybe we can communicate more with him here.
The experience reminded them of a figure they believed had rushed into their tent during an earlier visit. Hoping to establish clearer contact, they shifted their attention toward the tent. Soon afterward, the name Thomas appeared to come through, and the mood around the campsite became noticeably sadder. The team began to believe Thomas was a lonely and forgotten child, trapped somewhere in the forest.
I'm feeling energy this way, Chelsea.
Yeah? Okay, let's check it out. Thomas.
Hello, Thomas. I assume you're the little boy.
Death is not the end.
Thomas, are you able to tell us how old you are?
As they questioned him about his past, his apparent frustration continued to grow. They tried to reassure him and explained that they were willing to listen, but the answers remained vague.
Did you used to live on this land? Did you have a house here?
I'm angry.
That's twice. I'm upset. I'm angry.
Are you able to tell us why you are angry? Or what is making you angry?
Without warning, a sound from nearby caused everyone to stop. They listened carefully, as the sadness connected to Thomas seemed to become heavier. The campsite no longer felt the same. When the group attempted to move away, they repeatedly found themselves returning to the same place. The air felt increasingly oppressive, and one investigator warned that they should not remain there much longer because something felt wrong.
I'm innocent.
Something's telling me that the boy was murdered.
Satanic.
Is that true? Were you killed?
No.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. Can you help me with my glove again? Sorry.
It's them.
The hell is that?
Could be a helicopter.
That sounds different than a helicopter.
Yeah, it does. I don't see anything.
What the f?
Why is it so low?
Could be a helicopter.
It might be.
Or is it one of the drones?
No, I don't think so, because there's multiple lights on it. So I kept saying something about, like, innocent.
Something tells me that this boy is lost, and there's a story behind this boy. And I think he noticed us from our first time here. And he's like, oh, you've returned back 3 times now?
Yeah.
Tell my story. Like, it's just like in my instinct, like this boy is alone.
I really feel that he's, like, been forgotten. So maybe us getting his story out, if he's willing to tell us his story, maybe that can help bring him some closure and not be so upset.
Yeah.
They also realized that reaching their vehicle required walking back through the area that had frightened them earlier. The team became convinced that Thomas might be trapped there. They considered searching old records to uncover his story, hoping that learning what happened could somehow help him find peace.
You know, and the scary part is, too, babe, is we have to walk back through that part to get back to the car.
I know, right?
When we've been feeling safe over here.
Oh, man. Trapped.
This poor child.
Yeah, he is trapped.
I feel so bad.
Acceptance.
Why he doesn't want to, like, come through to, like, me in that sense.
Maybe he's just, like, cautious.
Maybe.
Was that just in the forest? Was there like a... Did you hear that?
I didn't hear it.
Huge branch.
Just before leaving, another strange message suggested that time did not exist. The words sent a chill through the group.
Time does not exist.
I don't know how to explain this. This is weird. Time doesn't exist.
Destruction.
I cannot feel my legs,
Yeah, it's
my
getting
toes.
Immediately afterward, their night vision camera stopped working. One team member also felt a powerful pressure pushing downward, convincing everyone that it was finally time to leave.
This is nuts. So our night vision is completely dead. Am I the only one hearing stuff in the distance? Like back that way?
Many viewers later argued that the investigation appeared heavily staged. Even so, experiencing something similar alone in a dark mountain forest would be difficult to dismiss. Cold weather can drain camera batteries faster, while darkness and uneven terrain can make nearby sounds feel harder to locate. Still, the timing of the messages and equipment failure remains unsettling. Was Thomas real, or was fear shaping the experience? On November 6, 2024, Brandt was documenting a solo-through hiking journey along the Appalachian Trail with his dog, Garvey. During this section through the Georgia mountains, he was heading toward Helen to restock his supplies. He was exhausted, running low on water and traveling across terrain that had remained largely unchanged for centuries. Along the way, Brandt discovered a hidden campsite just beyond the main trail that initially seemed like an ideal place to stop. However, after noticing that something appeared to be living beneath the nearby rocks, he decided not to stay and continued moving. He later paused beside the trail to record a brief update. That was when the encounter began.
Good morning. The last of my water in the form of coffee. Yeah, this is it until I can find water. I guess my next water is hog pan, which means going over Wildcat with no water. I think I'll be all right. I'll get up there early before the sun starts beating down. I won't sweat as much.
While Brandt was speaking to the camera, he saw what appeared to be another hiker approaching along the path. The figure seemed to be wearing hiking clothes and carrying a backpack. The person looked clear enough that Brandt moved away from the trail to give them space to pass. He waited, but no one ever arrived.
It's not the greatest. It's, I mean, it would work. There's a kind of a flat spot right there. I walked down this little side trail a little further, and I'm kind of glad I did because there's some sort of animal den underneath that rock. I don't want any animal encounters this evening, so I think I'm going to keep on going. Hey, talk about creepy. I was just down at that stealth site there checking it out, talking about it, and I heard and saw a hiker coming down the trail. And I thought I'd stay at the campsite and wait for the hiker to pass. And the hiker never passed, and there's nobody here, and it's freaking me out right now. I've got chills up and down my spine. Yeah, this is weird. I'm getting out of this spot. I'm telling you, that's if the animal den wasn't enough. Yeah, this is the spot where I thought I saw somebody. That's the second time today that's happened.
Brandt checked the trail in both directions, searching behind the surrounding trees and along the path. There was no sign of the hiker anywhere. The experience sent chills through him, especially because he believed something similar had already happened earlier that same day. Uncomfortable remaining near the area, Brandt continued down the Appalachian Trail and placed as much distance as possible between himself and that location before darkness arrived. Trees bends, and changing elevation can briefly hide someone on a mountain trail. But Brandt searched both directions and found no trace. Did the hiker quietly leave the path? Or had Brandt seen something else? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.